We should be, here's a new one for you, salt of the earth, light of the world. Folk ought to know that we are the children of the Most High without us having to tell them. Noah is different than everybody else in the world because he's not living by their standard. He's not dancing to their music. He's not trying to be like them because he has such a connection with his Father that he does not want to be like the rest of the world. And isn't it interesting that the rest of them get marked for death? There's something peculiar about Noah, because amid all of the people in the world who are now divinely marked for execution, Noah stands out. And not only is he standing out, but because he stands out, God extends favor to him. How come I can't seem to make it? Because you keep compromising with the world and you won't take a stand for Jesus Christ. That's why. Because you sit your tail in church on Sunday and try to act like you got a little bit of religion in you. But the reality is when you leave out of those doors, you blend back in with the world. And God is not trying to extend favor to somebody that don't look like him. Coming to church every now and then ain't going to help you. You once a month folk better get it together. Y'all can say, man, I'm talking to you. Something peculiar about Noah. And the text pretty much tells us what it is. God extends some favor to him. Favor is kindness, it's grace, it's loveliness, it's charm, it's preciousness. And what's interesting is that in the Hebrew here in this text, this word favor has secular implications, not theological implications. There's nothing deep and heavy and theological connected to God extending favor to Noah in this text. And the reason why is because there is a significance attached to the word simply based on how God sees him. When God looks at Noah and then looks at the rest of the world, he sees something totally different. And when he has to decide where he's going to shovel out his grace and favor, it doesn't have to require a whole lot of godly brain power to realize that all of my grace and favor is going to the one that stands up for me. I need some more amens from back there or something. In other words, the significance of the word is simply related to what God sees when he looks at Noah. Something about Noah is attractive to God. He's so attractive that he gets God's attention. You want to get God's attention? Live for him. I ain't talking about show up Sunday. I'm talking about live for him when you leave this place. Text says he saw. Now, we really ought to be more concerned about what God sees when he looks at us. Because you can fool me, and I can fool you, but we can't fool God. I mean, we can make people think we spiritual. You just quote a couple of verses out of context, and some folk will think you spiritual. You just show up on certain days, and some folk gonna think you spiritual. Am I right about it? I mean, you just sit in your same old pew and give $2 like you've been doing for the last 20 years, and somebody gonna think you spiritual. Pop into a Bible study every now and then. They're gonna think you spiritual. Even carry a Bible sometime. Now, you ain't got to know Genesis from Revelation. Just carry it, and some folk gonna think you spiritual. But I'm a little concerned because it seems as though we leave out of here and we live as though God is not watching. Now, in a world where everybody is watching, do you really think God ain't watching? That's what's behind that verse. Be well assured your sin, it'll track you down and kill you. we're living in a video camera age. Who in here has a cell phone? Put your hand up high. That ought to be almost the whole church. Now, who has a video camera or a camera on your phone? Now, if we watching, you do something wrong today, somebody's going to catch that on video. There used to be a time where you could run a red light. Should I confess? I didn't know. Something came in the mail. Yeah, that's my license tag. Now, the only saving grace is that it wasn't me driving. In fact, there wasn't nobody named Jones driving, so stop trying to figure it out. Fact remains, my car went through the light, click, as soon as I went through the light. Used to be a time that you almost could shoot through the toll gate. And as soon as you go, there's a camera that goes click. And they're going to send you your toll plus some in the mail. Now, if Big Brother is watching, as George Orwell said way back in '84, you don't think God is watching? I wish I had some help in here. The Bible said his eyes run to and fro the earth. He can see beneath the surface of our lives. He can see what we think we're hiding. He can see us when we think others cannot see us. He can see beneath the makeup. He can see under your church clothes. He can see you when you think you are all by yourself. He can see how you feel. He can see what you're thinking. God is always watching us. So I don't care where you sneak to. Your sin will track you down. People ought to watch Cops more often. See, you ought to take advantage of some of these shows on TV because it'll teach you how to live. Watch Cops. How you going to run in this a helicopter with night vision in the air? Watch Cheaters. If that don't tell you that folk ain't watching you. Why they always look so surprised when three white vans pull up with video cameras? Why you look all surprised now? Camera rolling, you trying to deny it. The camera is on. If it's on now, you don't think they got 3 weeks worth of video? People are watching you, and if we're watching each other, you don't think God is watching us? So God obviously sees in Noah something that he would have liked to have seen in the rest of the world. But when it's all said and done, only Noah stands out. Now here it is. This is the foundation of the whole series. If you're going to make an impact for the kingdom of God, you must be different enough from the people you're going to impact. You can't go to work telling folk, you ought to be on time, and you was late. You can't tell people they need to stop smoking, and you smoke. Stop drinking, and you drink. Stop cussing, and you cuss. If you're going to make an impact in somebody else's life, you have to rise above whatever it is that they're dealing with. So what was it about Noah that caused God to see him differently than everybody else on earth? Verse 9 gives us the answer. It says that Noah was a just man, perfect in all his generations, and he walked with God.